go in. But because I think even with like something is, I don't want to say as simple, but hair, you don't even think about it. And
No, yeah.
I'm reading or I'm listening to Layla Said's audio book, Me and White Supremacy, and she talks about like, you know, white privilege, and one of the things she says is about just having your hair done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm 32, and this year was the first time I ever found a stylist, and it was expensive, but that I found a stylist who actually knew how to cut black hair. Um, I can't, like, I do go to places like Great Clips and Supercuts because, you know, I'm on a budget.
sure.
But when I walk in, I can see the like, oh crap, looks in their faces because they're not taught how to do our hair, because our hair is so different from person to person. Our curl patterns are different from person to person.
Right.
And the way we wear it is different. So anytime I would walk into a place like that, they would just like they would just comb my hair out and cut it in a circle. As if I just wear my hair, like, this is like quarantine, need a cut, but like,
Sure.
as if I just wear my hair
In a
kicked
circle.
out.
Right. Can you,
Yeah.
yeah, put the comb in there, please, too?
Right. Right,
Right.
exactly. And so, yeah, that's that when I was little, I was tired of everyone touching my hair, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I want my hair straight. And so there was one black guy in the, you know, neighborhood that did hair. So he gave me a perm, which doesn't make sense because I wanted my hair straight.
Right. Was it like a
But
blowout kind of?
I guess it was supposed to like relax my curl pattern, whatever. And at the time, my hair was really, really long. It was probably, if I stretched it out, it was in the middle of my back. It was
Oh,
really long.
damn.
He cut it all off. To this length. He cut it to this length.
How old
Yeah.
were you?
And 9. And that day, my brother had a Boy Scouts meeting, and I always had to go to Boy Scouts with him because my mom was raising us by herself. So I remember this day, and my brother's friend made fun of me and told me I looked like a boy. And I ran to the bathroom and cried, and you know, I just want to look like everybody else, and here
Right.
it was even worse.
Right.
And so that guy, he did my hair for a while, and then this other guy started doing my hair, but it was like just this one guy and then one other guy, you know. And the second guy, he would relax my hair, and it's this chemical that hurts so bad if you leave it on too long. And it's not good for you. It's terrible for
Right.
you.
Right.
And
And just the
yeah, it
fact
took
that
me until
no, there was no, you're like, I guess this is normal. I guess this is supposed to hurt. I guess this is like, this
right,
is the price I have to
right.
pay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah,
not
it
like
was.
your brother
Yeah,
was with you. Like your brother probably was like, I don't need my hair straightened. His hair is probably short.
no, yeah, and for boys, it's a little easier because even if he didn't do anything, it's okay for him to have wild, crazy, curly hair, which it was okay for me too. But no one knew to tell me like moisturize it, put a
Right.
conditioner in it, like that would have changed everything. But I didn't, you know, I was just a kid, so I just
Right.
knew I was different and wanted to not be.
And of course, that's
Yeah, and then,
you're going into one example of something that
right.
you felt different about, and I'm sure growing up in a place, I'm recalling my experience, and yeah, there was probably 2 Black people in our high school. We didn't have any sort of diversity training. It wasn't a topic in our
Yeah.
household where we didn't have to have the conversation. And you said with your mom being white and that's who
They
raised
didn't.
you,
Yeah.
did she have the conversation with you about what to do, to talk to police or anything like that? Did
No,
you?
she it never crossed her mind. Now I have to say I do have privilege because my skin is lighter.
Sure.
Because I talk a certain way and look a certain way. And back then when I was straightening my hair, for sure looked a certain way. I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to fit in to be likable and to not be I can't tell you how many times I've been told I'm intimidating. And it's just by being me.
Right. Are you supposed to take that as a compliment or?
Um, yeah, no clue. but just like trying to be, hope that people aren't scared of me.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they're saying like you're intimidating because are we good? Can you see me? Are we like,
Yeah,
okay.
we're
Because
good.
you're still like
You're moving.
a little bit robotic.
Oh no. Okay.
But I don't know. I just want to make sure it's not me. But I guess my
Probably,
point.
yeah, it's my network, because the network's all the way in the kitchen and I'm in
Okay.
my bedroom, so
I can hear
no
you
signal.
clearly, so we're good.
Okay.
But just with the intimidation piece, it's something that you, I don't know if it's meant to be a compliment because you're such a strong woman, but I'm sure you probably got it throughout your life to where you didn't have it as a compliment. And when people say you're intimidating, I'm sure it was like, hey, don't be so intimidating.
Yeah, it's always been like a calm down, or because I am a really strong and assertive person, always have been.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's being picked on, I will always step in. Like, I've always been that person. But when you're little, or when I was little, it was, don't be so bossy, don't be so rude, you're overreacting, just always, even don't be a bitch. That one I've heard a lot. And so, like, just to assert myself and have any emotion, I'm always it's scary to people. Whereas if my white friends behaved the same way, it wasn't scary. They were just expressing themselves.
Did you experience that with like teachers as well? Like teachers like treating you differently?
I actually got really lucky and had really great teachers who actually had me and being brown. They actually knew that, and it's crazy. Like, I still talk to the teachers that I had. I got really lucky with the people that taught, that were my educators, because they really like encouraged me. And I never felt like they did it for any other reason than I was trying or that I was smart. I never felt like they were trying to give me something I didn't deserve.
Right. Like the token person of color that they're trying to get brownie points for treating a certain
I never
way.
felt like that. Yeah. So I got really, really, really lucky. But but at the same time, they could have done more. I do remember one time they had a civil rights like assembly, and like basically the 5 black people in school played the 5 black people they were doing the assembly about, and I played Rosa Parks, and that's kind of tone deaf, but I think my brother was Jackie Robinson.
Of course. I mean, I feel like the tone deaf is the right word for it. We, I think as a society, have been pretty tone deaf for a long time. Just not realizing it, right?
No, even me. I mean, gosh, you just learn what you learn.
Yeah, right.
And then that's what you know.
Yeah. So you hear people talk about like, okay, well, it's not my fault that I'm born white. Should I feel bad that I'm born white? Should I feel bad that I didn't have to have those conversations, with my parents about how I need to talk to cops and tell them that my hands are on the wheel, I don't have any weapons. No, and I'll let you speak to this, of course. But from my perspective, just again, from my very limited knowledge, and I want to know more and learn, but no, you don't need to feel bad for having the skin color that you have. No one needs to, but the point is no one needs to feel bad. No one should feel bad about it. And just having just understanding that you're in a position of privilege just because of that reason, right? I think a lot of people, including myself for a while, was like, oh, well, I have white privilege. I know people were like, well, I still have problems. And it's like, right, but your problems aren't because you are white. So I don't know if you have, anything to add to that, but I guess there's people who are like, why should I feel bad for being white? Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah. I would say, I'm not asking you to feel bad for being white, I'm asking you to change your behavior moving forward. You know, now that you know that that is something that's happening, I just need you to be aware, to be present, and to fight for other people who don't have your privileges. Because you know, my friends have said that to me too. Like, I'm so sorry. Or not they, of course, my friends weren't defensive, but my mom has been, you know, and it's like, yes, I'm upset and I'm mad about it, but it's not anger at the person. It's anger at the system.
Right.
And that's something that I want white people to understand. We're not mad at people. We're not mad at that person as that person. We're just mad at the behavior that has been allowed to continue by a system that was created in order to cause that behavior. We're mad at that. And so, like, when people get defensive, I'm like, I'm sorry that you feel guilty, and I get why you feel guilty, because I have to do the same stuff. I was raised in a family that all voted for Trump, and not one of them has reached out to see how my brother and I are doing. They're not on the side of anti-racist. They are racist. So I was raised by racist white people. So the things that I think about some other people, they horrify me. And I have to check myself. I have to learn about other people so that I can unlearn the crap that was taught to me. And so that's all we're asking is like those moments where you feel guilty or feel upset, like you feel that heat, like that's just a moment where your brain's like, you know, like you can learn and grow in that moment. And like, there's a podcast I listened to today, My Favorite Murder, and they were saying the moment where you get upset is proof that your brain knows something's wrong, and that's how you know that you're able to change, because you're actually recognizing there's something's wrong. But some people don't even recognize it, and none of that happens. They'll never change because they don't recognize the problem.
It's interesting you say that. You know, the brain recognizes it. I was also listening to what's her name, Heather McGee, today, and she was talking about how she basically her job is to do with like the economy, but you know, she is a person of color, so naturally she has endured racist comments, and she was doing something publicly, and she got a call from somebody who said, I'm a white dude from like South Carolina or wherever he's from, and I'm racist. And he basically was like, but I don't want to be because it feels bad. Like, help me.
Yeah.
And she's like, it was one of the most honest conversations I've ever had, because, you know, how many people in that position can even recognize I have these feelings and these feelings aren't serving me, you know? And
right.
I think that's such a key thing. And, you know, I don't want to get too, I guess I'll say, down in the weeds on that specific thing, because I do think, you know, personally, and maybe it's just because it's all we're seeing on social media right now, but I do think people are pissed overall. I do think people are like, I want to change. I want to have the knowledge. I want to have the wherewithal. So yes, I think there's a handful of people who are just openly racist, and I don't think this conversation or any real conversation is going to change their mind. So, you know, the intention here is to be more for the people who are open-minded, who are saying, I've been ignorant for a really long time. But I guess my point in that is like,
and it's okay.
Yeah, right. And I appreciate you saying it's okay, because what else is there, right? We can't beat ourselves up for what we didn't know and how we were raised.
Exactly.
And then, okay, so obviously another topic, like the riots are happening. I know you said where you are, it's kind of peaceful, and where you went for the protest was...
Well, Seattle's kind of loud.
I guess the point is, all 50 states have protested at this time, and a lot of them have resulted in looting and rioting. And, you know, I think personally, when you hear someone say, well, hate is not the answer, hate cannot combat hate, or, you know, everyone should just love each other, this isn't solving anything, this is making the problem worse. And it's kind of like putting the onus back on those who are protesting in a way that we don't like. So I guess I know what my answer